Hello everyone, it's time to do some past paper questions. This past paper, question 8, consists of 5 questions, so I'm going to be doing a separate video on each of them, so just keep a lookout for those. So in question 8, they are saying that the graph of g, and they've told us that the equation is ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx, meaning that they have not given us the equation, but they are just showing us that we don't have a d value. Hopefully we can see that that is because the y-intercept of this graph is 0, and we know that the y-intercept is always our d value. So they are also actually saying that in words. They're saying a cubic function having a y-intercept of 0 is drawn below. The x-coordinates of the turning points of g are -1, it's indicated here, and 2, which is indicated there. So they have given us the x coordinates, but not the y coordinates. So I'm actually just going to fill that in. We have -1 and y, and here we will have 2 and let's call this y2. Now in 8.1, they are asking us to answer the question, for which values of x will g increase? Now if we are looking at this graph, we know that this graph is increasing where the graph is literally like moving up. So we can see for this section over here. This is the section of the graph where the graph is increasing. For the first section, which is over here, the graph is decreasing, and then for the other purple section, the graph is decreasing there as well. So when they are saying for which values of x will g increase, we are going to have to write down that it is going to be all x values that are covering this section. So all the x values that lie in between -1 and 2. Now you can decide whether you want to write that in inequality notation, in which case you will write -1 smaller than x smaller than 2, just to show that x lies in between -1. And remember, we read the x going outward. So we are reading this as x is bigger than -1, but at the same time it is also smaller than 2. Or if you prefer, you can write this in interval notation. X is an element of -1 to 2. Now, there is some debate in math circles about whether we should include or exclude the turning points. Some teachers and some mathematicians would agree that at the turning points, since the gradient is 0 there, the derivative is 0, the gradient is 0, that at the turning points the graph is not increasing or decreasing. If that is what your teacher taught you, then please do not include these turning points. But then some other mathematicians actually say that only if the question says strictly increasing or strictly decreasing do we not include those. So it would actually also be marked correctly if you decide to actually include those turning points. Let me just zoom in, so that I can erase that. So it's fine if you include the turning points or if you exclude the turning points. That because there have been disagreements, they actually accept both. All right, stay tuned for part 2.